Greetings, my beautiful soul, and welcome back to my channel. For today, I wanted to share a bit about the energy that we're in right now. And this energy kind of started around the new moon last week. And it's kind of a bit of a calming, more calm energy than we've had for a while. I would say, for myself at least, all of last year, like from last August until this August, things were very intense, more and more intense all the time. And that was just a time when we were being called to shift and transform a lot of things in us. So our shadows were coming out, and we had to really work on these transformations. And now things are a little bit settled, thank goodness, because it was a lot. I don't know how it was for you. But what we're being called into now is to really stay in that high vibe state. So if you've been connecting to your higher vibration like I have, and you were previously struggling with, just, how should I say, when we've had a lot of personal and or ancestral trauma, we can be used to this lower state of being that is familiar because maybe it was with us from a young age, and at a young age we absorb all the energies around us. So if you were in a toxic cultural or family environment, it would affect you. And so then when we begin to shift into a higher state, it can feel like it's beautiful, but is it real? And it might not feel familiar, it might not feel like your natural state. It is actually our natural state, but it might take some time for you to not always be expecting to just go back to your lower state or be afraid of that. And I want to share some of the practices I do to help me with this. So one thing you can do is to identify situations or times when you are in a high vibe state naturally. And this is usually things when this happens when we connect more to spirit. So it could be when you're in nature, in like especially some beautiful natural environment. So for example, I spent time on Salt Spring this summer, and Salt Spring Island near Vancouver. Very high vibe, and so it just shifted me a lot. And previously had been to Hawaii, also very high vibe. And you can sort of do things to remind you of being there. So for example, I recorded this dance video when I was on Salt Spring, and I play it for myself when I want to connect to that energy. It's kind of like a reminder. Another thing that happened before is there was a time I was going a lot to Thailand when I lived in China, and I started using this shampoo, and every time I would shampoo my hair after, it would remind me of being there. For many years, this really was a very intense memory. Like I would actually see myself in the outdoor shower, washing my hair at the beautiful beach. And besides places, there could also be activities that bring you to that state. For example, when I do healing work, because I connect to spirit, I'm in a very high vibe place. When I teach, also I have that feeling. And so then you can take that energy because you have felt it, and you can in meditation or at other times just feel into that energy and bring it more within yourself, especially when you feel like you're kind of going off in a different direction, in a different energetic state. It's also really great to do this practice first thing in the morning, because in the morning we're still in a kind of semi-meditative state as we're waking up. So to connect to that energy first thing in the morning just sets your whole day in a good place. Because what I noticed was sometimes I would wake up in the morning and little by little I would be shifting further into a negative state, where I had negative thoughts about my day or about things I had to do. And now when I start to feel the shift, I reconnect to that positive energy. So it's just a practice. It's a practice that, and you'll be able after time to sustain, like I used to be able to sustain a positive state for a few hours, and then for a day or a couple of days. And the more that you do these practices, you can keep the state for a longer time. Or even when you leave a beautiful place in nature and you go back home, you can continue to have that feeling for a day or two. And the goal, of course, is to have that feeling as much as possible. So these are just some of those things, because it is a time really when we are being called to embody our beautiful high vibe state much more consistently, so we can live our purpose and do the things we were brought here to do in a much more consistent way, not just occasionally, but consistently. And when we are able to sustain this high vibe state, everything changes. I had this experience recently where people were reaching out, clients, friends, people offering me work. All of these things were happening at the same time, whereas previously there was like this lull and not much was happening. So that shift in vibration, it's not that I'm saying don't do any actions, just shift and then do nothing and everything will come. Obviously we have to still take steps and take actions and follow through. But staying in that state, people are naturally attracted. Even if they don't see you, they are somehow attracted and reach out and connect. So I hope this was helpful. I wish you luck on your journey towards embodying more of your true self. And if you have any comments or questions, please send a comment below. And if you wish to work with me, please reach out by email. Thank you so much. Take care.